How's it going? My name is Rohil and I am a narrative designer in the video game industry. Most recently, I created a lot of the characters and a lot of their designs for the Infinite Jonathan's card game, which is available at Barnes & Noble and I believe Walmart, which is an interesting feeling. It is a physical thing that exists on shelves. But I've worked on a ton of games. I'm most proud of the stuff I made with my friends in the independent space, kind of showcasing games at different galleries around New York City, very pop-up store approach. For this video, I'm going to be playing through, replaying the first ever visual novel I created. This is an interactive branching narrative called Case and Time. It's very like sort of B-movie body horror inspired. I remember putting a lot of bloody metaphors in there. A lot of bizarre shit is in this project, but I have not opened it up for quite some time. Definitely not since like most of like the bug fixing shit was finished and it was out, and I was like, okay, this serves its purpose. It conveys the story. It did what I needed it to do. Some wisdom for you: if you ever look back and cringe at your old work, that's a really good thing. You have to have grown substantially to be able to look back at a previous project and identify all the ways you could have done those things differently. It shows that you're growing as a creative, and we all support that. Oh no, dude. So this was put together in maybe just under 2 weeks. The studio was working on 2 bigger projects, and then this was supposed to be one for the fans, or just like something fun to throw out during Halloween. It was all put together on an in-house tool, so we didn't use twine, but it was essentially twine. That's story and art by a man. That's right, we did that. I did all of the art. I remember it was difficult. It was difficult trying to come up with what I wanted the art style for this project to be. Initially going into it, I didn't even think that I'd be doing any of the art. So with branching narratives, each outcome has to have a piece of art, or ideally you'd want that, and I know there's a fuck ton of choices and outcomes in this game. I don't even remember how many, but I do remember in this 2-week period just giving in to absolute madness and just trying to make it an experience with a lot of replayability. Yeah, I kind of went with like this paper cutout type of vibe. I wanted it to be creepy. Look, it's definitely crude as far as art can go in a game. It's not the most polished, but it has charm. Freelance detectives and notable chaotic goods, Justine Case and Justine Time, are contracted by Calpin Group, a mysterious corporation. Their objective: find Lancel, a missing 12-year-old boy from the village of Needham Tum. The detectives drive through the sickly, smoggy scenery of Needham Tum's wetlands on their way to the Manor Rouge. Behind the wheel speeds Detective Time, her disposition acutely severe, impulsive. Seated shotgun, the boisterous Detective Case. Case turns on the car radio. You're listening to Bump This Record Until You Die, the latest single from Gonzo Bunny, here on Death Cornetto FM, your #1 source for headbanging, face-melting metal. Case headbangs to the vicious exploration of all things hardcore, the avant-garde metal outfit Gonzo Bunny. Time tries to focus on the road. Up ahead, she notices something strange. The duo views a peculiar sight, a blue frog violently picking at itself. A thick trail of blue slime coats the roads. Time honks, but to no avail. Time wants to hit the gas. Case screams for seatbelts. Time buckles in and races forward. The sludge is far more potent than they could have imagined. The duo swirls intensely as if being flushed down deep into the Needham Tum wetland. Case and Time desperately grasp for control of the car. You can either hit the brake as Time or grab the wheel as Case. I'm gonna go with grab the wheel. I don't even remember where these outcomes lead. The detective's car swirls destructively across the Needham Tum wetland like a schoolyard spinning top. After several rotations, Time positions the car straight forward. The duo sighs in relief as they continue towards the Manor Rouge. So Case gives Time a bit of shit on making impulsive decisions. Time mentions how the wildlife will probably test their comfort zones. So foreshadowing them mentioning the frogs and the wildlife. If I remember correctly, one of the big antagonistic forces that you will encounter later on is this insectoid cult that is trying to birth like a giant moth creature, and the frogs are also used in some sort of diabolical research, but they also end up taking sort of a protagonist role in this story. Kelpin Group has spared no expense for the duo's services. The bag is $2 million. Kelpin has organized the detectives' invites to a dinner party being held at the Manor, where Lancel was last seen. So Time kind of spaces out here. The Manor Rouge just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Case makes a comment, old white man dinner functions in mansions give me the heebie-jeebies. This missing kid Lancel is probably diced up in tonight's appetizers. Doc. Oh, okay. So I remember I originally wrote Case to be kind of like the smartass of the duo. So as the story progresses, she becomes more serious about being a detective. Time starts considering options outside of being a detective. So they really respond to these sort of intense events very differently. Case makes a comment on how she's craving animal style fries. Time makes a comment on she just wants to be in and out this creepy mansion. Case puts on her bulky tactical vest. Heavy duty pockets swarm her body, a real Swiss Army gal. This is another very on the nose sort of thing, but Detective Case, she's the one with all of the items, and then Detective Time is the impulsive one, always finds a way, always makes it happen, just in the nick of time. So that was the original prompt that I was given. They wanted a Detective Case and Time, and those were the dynamics that they were gonna play with. The duo enters the manor, walks into a barren yet eccentric dining room. They notice a cocoon sigil atop the fireplace at the head of the table. It has an open slot on its left side. I put a little asterisk on there. I'm interested in what your thoughts are on this, because this could be seen as an insecurity on my end, but I put that asterisk there because that is something that you're going to have to engage with later on, and I thought that maybe it would be lost in the regular story foreshadowing because there's a lot of description going on, and I wanted to make it very clear that that is linked to your objective. So in the game, you find these pieces needed, these different sigils needed to open certain doors and things like that. In the entranceway of the dining room is an aggressively large mirror. You can explore the dining room, leave the dining room, explore upstairs, banter, look into the mirror. Look into the mirror. Case looks at herself and Time in the mirror, banter. Detectives Justine Case and Justine Time sit in the eerie atmosphere of the dining room. Case rolls up her sleeves and begins stretching at the head of the table. On her right arm, a tattoo, bunny ears atop an upside down cross. Time's eyes linger on the tattoo. Case makes a comment about how it's the greatest band ever. She's always wanted to see them live. So that's Gonzo Bunny, the band she was listening to on the drive to the manor. Time says we should go after we solve the case. Case is really excited. What? But you hate my taste in music. Time. So I like everything else, goofball. Let's keep moving. I want to find this kid, get that Kelpin Group bag. It's enough money to retire young. And then Case questions that. Retire, but there are so many unsolved mysteries. Time walks up to Case and plucks a loose thread from her shirt, and then they get back to it. So a bit of relationship building, planting that early seeds of them going into separate paths in terms of what they want out of life, and I don't know how obvious or the flirtation plays reading this now again. If it's not clear in this like very early section of the story, it becomes clear later on. I remember putting in an ending where you see something really gruesome and you can just say fuck it and leave and don't solve the case, and the two of you just go and have a romantic vacation together. I got to do a lot of relationship building stuff in this and make sort of like fuck it decisions where you could just leave and not engage with the horror elements and just have a more sweet story. And I could get away with doing a lot of shit like that because during this phase of development, like I said, we had these other two big projects going on, and truthfully, whenever I would submit new builds of the game with, you know, added choices and story and really a more substantial relationship between the two main characters, no one would really review it. so I could just like get stuff through and get stuff into the game. Now usually you would want people to review the work you're doing in a professional setting. It helps validate the work that you're doing, keeps you on the right track. But in this case, just given this particular project and how much of like my vision got to remain intact for this the final build, I kind of liked not having a ton of notes. I did get some notes. There were some scenes in the original draft of this that were very violent, and I was told to pull it back. I know we didn't get into any of the action, but I'll be back with the second part. If you have any questions about narrative design, or more specifically branching narratives, hit me up, let me know, and then I'll keep those in mind as I continue going through the game, and hopefully I can provide more value, more insight into the process of creating a branching narrative and the experience of working as a narrative designer. These are my socials. You can follow me over there. Show this video some love, and take care.